Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. In the last episode, we were the awesome tag team of Missile and Sissel and we were able to save this hippie dude. And then we were able to give Lynn back the music box. And poor Missile got carried away. So yeah, I'm so sad that Missile's dead, but he decided, he'd rather stay dead for a while, that way he can use his powers to save Miss Camila. Alright, so now what are these guys talking about? Let's see. Are you talking about... Alright, trick time. So first of all, let me save. Okay. And, I guess we need to move and talk in our heads. Here in this park, the gods surely control fate. Today, 10 years from that day, we meet once again. If that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it? It could just be a coincidence. But apparently you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about it? About what happened 10 years ago? Yes, of course. I was actually about to do just that. Alright, let's talk about this rock of the gods that you keep talking about. What's this rock of the gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know? It's right there in front of us. Where? Oh, where Missile died. My baby. Oh. Missile. Wait a minute. You say G-O-D-S, but do you mean D-O-G-S? Of course not. Don't be silly. This is no time for ridiculous word games. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument. Monument? I don't see anything on it, but okay. Rock of the Gods, Temsik Park. The Rock of the Gods? Oh. The rock is buried in the ground right there. It's been there these 10 years. Ever since that day, it flew down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. A miracle? Frickin', I can't remember the word right now. I'm sure they'll say it in a minute. So this rock you've been talking about, it's a meteorite? That's the word, thank you. I wanted to say asteroid, but I was like, wait, that's only in space. Precisely. It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it. Me? Yeah, what does this have to do with her? I know that 10 years ago sounds familiar. That day, I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea that day would change my destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Now just calm down and drop that weapon. Stay back. If you come any closer, I'll shoot her. Yep, very familiar to us by now. I peeked out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. I knew I should do something to help, but I couldn't move. The tension was so thick, it was painful. Just when I couldn't stand it any longer, that's when it happened. The sky suddenly burned bluish white. Ooh. That's pretty cool, actually. Huh. He never mentioned that. Jowd. He never did. When it crashed into the ground, the meteorite gave off a shower of beautiful fragments. And then I saw it. One of those beautiful fragments pierced into the criminal's back. Wait, what? Didn't Jowd shoot the guy? I'm kind of confused now. The judgment of the gods was brought down on the park that day. "10 years ago, the little girl that was you was saved by the rock of the gods."
Oh my, I can't believe it.
The rock of the gods was given the name Temsik, and still today, it lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. Alright, what else? Temsik.
I never knew about this Temsik. I always thought Detective Jowd was the one who saved me.
You were very young then, and you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Excuse me. Of course you wouldn't remember. But that's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you never heard about it, Lynn.
It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I avoided the news, and I never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it.
The meteorite was named Temsik after the name of this park that it fell in. And then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning the park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day. And so I've taken up residence in this park and am trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park, the Rock of the Gods. That is my mission.
I see.
He's still a weirdo, but okay. I get it now. They just left it in the ground.
I'm taking you with me, Missile.
So 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that. But Detective Jowd, on the other hand, yeah, what's his excuse for not telling us? There's no way he didn't know about this Temsik thing. And if he knew... And the man died. I took his life. What was that confession of his all about? Yeah, that's weird. The Rock of the Gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destinies of many people's lives, like the ripples on a pond when a pebble is dropped in. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Let's hope so. Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decided to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jowd. Alright, we gonna save? No? Alright.
We found the music box, Detective Jowd.
Good job, Lynn. I knew you would. Once everything has been resolved, I had wanted you to give this to him.
Him? You mean Inspector Cabanella, right?
I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me.
Detective Jowd.
Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know. See? He calls that a knack? Looks more like brute strength to me. Yeah. There's the evidence. Here you are. You should find scorch marks on the grip.
Scorch marks?
When Camilla built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's a kind magicians use. It burns up in an instant and disappears.
Why would little Camilla use something like that?
I don't know. Maybe because she's a detective's daughter. Not leaving any evidence behind and all that. In the case report, there was mention of some scorch marks. I haven't done those voices in forever. I hope I'm doing it right. When it happened, Camila was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun,
something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with a picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun.
In other words,
It proves the contraption existed there in that room that day.
woo, proof.
And it didn't work the way your little girl intended, is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified the design. But that angle was never brought up in court. And so, as Justice Minister, I must call off the execution at this point. Finally!
Thank goodness. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jowd. Now we can finally prove that. Thank goodness. Aww.
Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago.
Speaking of which, we need to talk to you about that, sir. We got some questions for you, buddy. No, I don't need to talk to him.
Sissel, if you hadn't come to my cell tonight, I would be gone by now, without ever having known any of this. This is what I deserve. And that's what I told myself these past 5 years. But things are different now. Thanks to you, my eyes have finally been opened.
Tonight, I've come into contact with a lot of people's lives and got involved in their fates. And the only reason I was doing it was to regain my own lost memory. But things are different now. We're connected to each other somehow. I just know it. And that's why I need to ask you a few more questions in order to find the truth about us.
Ooh, I like that. Future Binks, label or title this episode The Truth About Us.
Fair enough. Fire away.
Oh, lot to talk about. Or maybe I'll name it Temsik. I should, right?
Sissel told me all about it, Detective Jowd. About the manipulator.
Yes, and it looks like this manipulator really did a number on the minister too. Ugh!
Please don't pick on the minister. If he dies again, I'm the one who has to save him.
Ugh!
Sissel, do you think that's what happened to me too?
What are you talking about, Lynn? Don't tell me. You were manipulated too.
Yeah, she shot us.
There was always a part of me that just couldn't believe it.
Oh no, it's him. Sorry.
That image of the one who shot me. But now I see the possibility of a new explanation. But who is it? And why did they do it?
That's a good question.
That contraption was a birthday surprise for Camilla's mother, wasn't it?
That's right.
Something's been bothering me about it. I feel like I know that device from somewhere.
No surprise there. You lost your life once tonight because of that machine.
Right? I knew it! See, Detective Jowd?
No, I'm afraid I don't see.
I have to tell him. I told Detective Jowd about it. Told him about seeing the exact same contraption tonight in a completely different place. Which is weird.
That's very strange indeed. A junkyard on the edge of town. I've never even heard of the place. And what's more, I've never told a single soul about that contraption.
You haven't?
That old pigeon guy. Who in the world is he? Good question. Alright, let's talk about Temsik. Detective Jowd, you must have heard this name before. Temsik. The meteorite that fell in the park 10 years ago. You were there. Uh-oh.
So you found out about that, did you?
I heard that meteorite saved little Lynn's life.
That's right. I couldn't do anything to help Lynn that day.
But in that case, I don't get it. If it's true, doesn't it mean you didn't steal away somebody's life? What are you talking about? Detective Jowd, you told me that 10 years ago, the person you killed, the perpetrator in the park, was you. Wait, that seems weird. The person who killed the perpetrator. I think that was a typo, actually. What? But it was the meteorite.
I wasn't lying. I stole that man's life away. No question about it. It was entirely my fault.
Why?
I was just about to shoot him. I would have shot him in the next instant if the meteorite hadn't come. At that point, I was already a murderer.
That's not true. You were trying to save me.
Lynn, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's really it.
Huh?
Yeah. What? Okay, the truth.
On that day, 10 years ago, a different incident happened in another place.
Another place?
Yes, in the police headquarters interrogation room.
I'm getting deja vu from the SL9 incident.
The worst sort of incident. A suspect who was being questioned escaped.
Yep, SL9.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
And I happened to be there in the detective division, so I joined the chase. Fortunately, or I guess unfortunately, I was able to track him down alone in the park. Hold it right there! I fired a warning shot. I wanted to catch him, bad. That warning shot made him panic. At the time, I was a young and green detective,
Wearing green, just like Gumshoe.
brandishing my sense of justice like a sword. I made him panic and got you involved, Lynn. It was all my fault.
Detective Jowd.
All I could see was my target. I couldn't even see you. I'm so sorry, Lynn.
So the man who grabbed me died that day.
These last 10 years, I've never forgotten his face. And then, a few years after that, when my wife, Alma, died in such a mysterious way, I thought it was fate, my punishment for what I'd done.
That way he was painting doesn't make any sense. The movements was so wild.
I painted pictures in my cell, nothing but portraits of people's faces. All the faces of the many people I'd met in my life and didn't want to forget. And tonight, I finished my last portrait, the final face I wanted to remember.
Which was mine. Sissel's.
The final face. The face of the man in the park that day.
Wait just one moment. Sorry. Wait just 1 minute. That can't be. I saw that painting. I saw the face you painted tonight. It was my face. Ooh, this song. I love it. I love the soundtrack for this game. It's awesome. Are you telling me I was the man in the park that time? So weird.
That's right. That face of yours is the face I saw 10 years ago. The face of the man whose life I stole. Of the man who was pronounced dead at the scene.
But hold on, Detective Jowd. That can't be true. I just met Sissel for the first time tonight. And he died right in front of me.
Do you have a twin? That's all I could think of.
By the way, the name that I know the man in the park that day by isn't Sissel.
What?
From the first minute I laid eyes on you tonight, I've been wondering, who in the world is this guy?
Uh-oh.
It's Cabanetta, baby!
Interrupting a very serious moment.
Mr. Minister. Inspector Cabanella, where are you? Just be quiet and listen. This is our demand.
What? Excuse me? Cabanella, baby, what are you smoking?
What? Demand? Our demand hasn't changed. The execution must be tonight. Once we confirmed it's been carried out, we'll release the hostage. What are you talking about, Inspector Cabanella?
You're bad? What?
And you know it wasn't my daughter who was abducted. Does it really matter who the hostage is? A life is a life, even if it's the daughter of a death row prisoner. Ugh.
Cabanella, baby, no!
Once the criminal gets the punishment he deserves, the hostage will go free. Carry out the execution immediately and wait for our call.
But what? What is it, Mr. Minister? You look paler than ever.
What in the world? What's going on? Inspector Cabanella!
I'm confused too.
The rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago twisted the fates of many people and started a chain of tragic events. And now, the chain continues to grow even longer. Inspector Cabanella's call proved that to us. What the heck? And the greatest mystery of all has risen to the surface. Who is this me I've been chasing all night? Who am I? I'm even further from knowing than when I started. All right. Well, that was something else, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye.